things happening all at the same time, so thank you for taking the time. I'm Miss Virginia. I am the homeroom teacher for 1B, because now we call ourselves 1B and 1C. Miss Marie's 1C. My room number is 104. Miss Marie's room number is 108. If you've been in the school before with older children, you will remember room numbers, not the 1B, 1A, but that's what they started doing in the school. So any sort of communication that comes from the board and you need to access for your child, it's 1B for myself, 1C for Miss Marie. Oh, and I forgot to tell you what I teach you. That would be nice. Homeroom 104, I teach the English and the math program, and Miss Marie teaches my students French, and I teach her students math at that time. So we do a little switcheroo, and then Miss Marie, of course, teaches 108.
That's it. And for right now, well, for our French resource, we have Madame Joanne. So she comes in twice a week for each group, or once a week for each group, so twice a week in total, offering resource support. Often I use that time during testing so that students can have a little bit more support during that time. At the moment, we have, I believe, a temporary resource teacher for ELA, but until that time is finalized, we're still kind of figuring out our schedule to make sure that it's the optimum support for our students. So we'll be providing a schedule as of next week, once the schedules have really been finalized.
And we'll place it in the blue folder pocket, so please just make sure that you take a look, okay?
My class are not blue, they're the communication pouch, but same.
Isn't that what it's called?
I use a different one. Surprise, I use a different one.
Oh, you
Yeah.
Oh, it's black.
Yeah.
I'm
keeping you on your toes.
Black is the best color, but hey. Excuse them. I was picking blue, that's what I was.
It's all good. So our program, the French program, is very much a sound-based program, very heavy on music. So I kind of feel like I need to apologize a little bit because the songs I choose are very repetitive. And they get stuck in your head for a reason. So you might be in bed going, but it's effective, right? And so with music, often we learn pronunciation as well as vocabulary, and it's done in a less kind of threatening way. And so the program in French uses a lot of music. It's very interactive. There's a lot of learning stations, a lot of hands-on activities to really support the learning program. The focus in French at our school, at our level, is really exposure. It's getting them a taste of French, getting them to hopefully love the language, and then in the future explore a little bit more deeply. So at our level, it's really about the love of the language, encouraging the usage of it. So to support that level of learning, I use Google Classroom quite a lot. So I'll post the YouTube videos with the songs. If there's the lyric sheets that they need to learn, like for specific vocabulary, I'll often post it, or I will post it. But just to understand that, so for the French program, it's a lot of digital tools.
Yeah. And some of you may not have access to the Google Classroom because for some reason issue every year. So just let us know, just email us if you haven't. Everybody should have received an email from me and from Miss Marie. I sent to my homeroom, she sent to her homeroom, as well as to both classes for this meeting. So if you have not received anything, then make sure that you take, when you see it, our emails, so you can access it, and we can send you the information on Miss Virginia. I haven't been able to get Google Classroom, even though I sent invites to everybody in my class. So you should be able. Now, the one thing that happens with Google Classroom is once I send the invitation, I can't send again a second one. So it may be in your junk folder, maybe, I don't know where it could be. But if there's an issue, then let me know. Then usually what I do is there's a little code that we give, and you're able to access it when it works. But technology, I love, but sometimes issues happen.
Well, just that whether or not there's any homework or anything being sent home, just start to already incorporate reading as part of your nightly routine. So that could be a bedtime story, that could even be, let's figure out what we're making for dinner together. Let's look through some recipes on the computer. Let's incorporate literacy in different ways. And it can also be in your mother tongue as well. So literacy, it would be great if it was also also in English, of course, but it doesn't have to be. You're really promoting this love of learning, this love of reading, and so try to incorporate it on a daily basis in some way. The best way is to have it as part of your routine. So, I don't know what it's like in your house, but I can imagine, you eat dinner, maybe you wash up, you change for bed, and then before bed, a bedtime story, for example.
Because as we know, at the beginning of the year, grade 1 students are very overwhelmed. There's so much to learn. Grade 1 is one of the toughest
It
years
really is.
because they're learning how to read, they're learning how to write, they're learning how to be with each other. They're learning not to nap in the afternoon. They're learning that they don't get to go out as long.
Or play all day. That's a
Exactly.
big
It's
transition.
very, very different. So it's very stressful. So what Ms. Mary and I do, yes, we'll do some homework this month, but really it's very, very minimal. So that's why reading is really important. We focus more in October the homework. Now, there will be a math test coming up simply so that I can evaluate what they know. And then there will be a real test coming up and you will be given the information. So the standards and procedures is basically how we evaluate. What we evaluate, when we evaluate, which competencies. So that will be on our Google Classroom as well as if you access the school's webpage, okay? If you prefer having a hard copy and you would like one, let me know and I will do my best, or Ms. Libby will do her best to get one, okay? But basically, one of the things that we really want you to be aware of is the fact that not all competencies are evaluated every single term. Every competency must be evaluated for every single subject twice. Sometimes we do it 3 times, but we must do it at least twice. Now, there's certain subjects, the competencies, it's really difficult for children at the beginning of the year. So to get a grade 1 student to write at the beginning of the year, when they're just learning what the letters are, the formation. So we don't evaluate for English or French the writing, and in English we don't evaluate reading at the beginning because there's just so much. What we really focus on is speaking, being able to speak in a group, to be able to communicate, to get their needs met. That's, some of you are really good, but it's just one of those things. That's what we're focusing on right now. I'm so communicating? Competencies? Yeah. Okay, so for example, in English, there are 3 competencies. So the one competency has to do with writing, one has to do with reading, and one has to do with oral language. It's said much nicer than this, but it's just basically what we do. So and that's how we evaluate. Okay? So if I say it's competency 1, it's because I'm evaluating their oral language. Okay? Math. So the Digit program, I really like it. It's a really great program to have. And I had an issue, so I'm going to speak to the representative so that I can get that information for you. Because the last couple of years we've had access to the digital one. So you can access this. Because I won't be sending this home until the end of December, January, because this is 100 pages. If you lose it, it's very expensive to replace, a lot of photocopies. So just because at the beginning of the year they have such issues of losing things, so I don't do that at the beginning, okay? So, and everything is worked on in class. Now, every once in a while I will send it home and say, it's catch-up work, because some children fall behind. And you don't want to have, right before a test, have to learn 40 pages, right? Not that you would ever have 40, but you have a lot. And it's just overwhelming for little people. So if you can access, I will get that information so you'll be able to access the games and other resources from Pearson. And then as far as our literacy is, I love the YouFly program. Basically, it's a sound awareness, it's the phonetic, it's a great way. First of all, it's free. You can go on the webpage, go to YouFly, and Ms. Marie was kind enough to do our supplement book. So basically, we have the YouFly book, and basically, we try to do 1 or 2 letters a week, depending. And then we have a bunch of information for the kids to reinforce what we're learning, reading, writing, getting the information, being able to sight words are really important. Now, in the YouFly program, they call it irregular words. Some of you know them as sight words or common words or Dolch words. There are certain words in the English language that you cannot sound out. So it is really important that kids are aware of what part of the word they can sound out and what part of the word they have to memorize. Some words, no way, Jose, you must always know it. So we'll make sure that you're aware of all of that. And then we have a writing booklet and a reading booklet. And what we've done is we've separated it by terms so that, let's say we do get something wrong and it gets lost, well, you've only maybe 10 pages have to be photocopied. So it's not so bad as 100 pages, okay? And then CCQ, for myself, Mr. Mike teaches my CCQ, and Ms. Marie teaches her CCQ. And CCQ is Culture and Citizenship in Quebec. We start off with learning about our needs, our wants, our feelings, and we talk about the different holidays, the different celebrations that we have. So it's just and by the way, I forgot to say this to the other group. If there is a celebration that you really want to talk about with the class, you're more than welcome. Let us know that you know, some people like to bring food. I've had parents in the past who brought dumplings for Lunar New Year. I've had parents who brought dates for Ramadan. We're quite open. The only thing that we ask, and you'll see this in the next one, is because we have so many Muslim families, we ask for no gelatin and no peanuts, because I'm highly allergic and some of the children in my class are as well. It is not a peanut-free school per se, but we really encourage you not to have peanuts to send your child without peanuts. And same thing with the parts. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
It's all yours.
So our French program there's two parts to it. One is a sound-based program called Raconte-moi les sons, which is basically like tell me about the sounds. Each letter has a little story that's connected with the sound. So I'll give you an example. We just started learning la lettre A, the letter A, and it's a story about a little girl with a toothache. So the side of her cheek is really swollen, and she has a cavity, so she goes, ah, ah, ah. And then she sees the dentist, he fixes it, and she goes, ah. So our sound-based program is really linked with little stories that reinforce the sounds in a really approachable way. Like the math program and like the ELA program, we separated them into sections. So for each term, we have a different packet, a different workbook. So there's livre A, le livre B, le livre C, so the 3 books. And then we also have a thematic-based program as well. So for each term, we have the autumn, l'automne, l'hiver, winter, printemps, spring. And in that section, there's thematic-based vocabulary connected. So for example, in autumn right now, we're looking at the back-to-school supplies. So la rentrée, le cahier, le livre, le crayon. Eventually we'll be looking at colors and numbers, and then the vocabulary connected to autumn. So the leaves, les feuilles, les pommes, les citrouilles. And then eventually days of the week, months of the year. So it's progressing with the student. But to support, again, the learning of this thematic vocabulary, we also have the digital media. So a lot of music, a lot of hands-on activities to support. But just to know that there's a sound-based program and a thematic-based program, and they work together.
We also try to do in English and in math, we try to reinforce what we're learning in French. Because the more time, how often you are exposed to it keeps it in your head. Because if you're only exposed to it once, in one language, you may not retain it. But if you're exposed to it in math time, so like the days of the week, the months of the year, we will be teaching it both in French, in English, and in math. So just so that you're aware, we really do try to reinforce the program. I'm sorry? Miss Marie teaches me French all the time. I'm terrible.
C'est magnifique, madame. Magnifique.
J'ai essayé, madame.
Oui, très bien, excellent. So the best way to reach us is really email. Okay, so my email is at the top. Miss Virginia's is over here. We'll also be sharing this with you as well. But as you know, if something is really time sensitive, we might not be able to respond right away. So the best way is really to call the office. So that phone number that's there, that's the, I don't know if you can see it, maybe the book is called.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's the office number. So if it's really time sensitive, like for example, I'm going to be late. I'm usually at pickup, but there's a lot of traffic, you know, and you need to let let the office know. Sending an email is great, but I might not answer, especially if I'm with my students, or if Miss Virginia's with her students, especially at the end of the day.
We don't always have the ability to be able to access our emails, and sometimes the emails are down. The internet is down in school, so it's really important that if you can't ask, just if it's time sensitive, call the office. And if you have not received an email from either of us, please take this information now, and we'll do what we can to make sure that you get access. This is Google Classroom and everything. Okay.
And then we talked a little bit about snacks, especially when there's a holiday and whatnot. So we encourage our snacks to be peanut-free, especially because we do have allergies. As well, if you're bringing in like something for a birthday, for it to also be gelatin-free, so that all of the students can enjoy. We encourage healthy eating in the morning, so yogurt, fruit, vegetables, cheese, crackers. Doritos are excellent, but not for morning snack. Chocolate is amazing, I love it, but not for morning snacks. So always provide a healthy option. If there is a little treat, we'll encourage them to eat it after their lunch. But you know, as soon as you see a chocolate bar, you want to eat the chocolate bar. So I understand, especially when the impulse control is not developed yet. So a healthy morning snack is really encouraged. The school also offers a morning snack as part of our breakfast program, which actually just started today, which we're very happy about. You can also order lunch through Mini Bistro, which is the EMSB hot lunch that's provided. And this year there's also a vegetarian option, which I'm a vegetarian, so I'm quite happy about that. And the meals are delicious and they're very affordable. Well, so if you can go through it, it's Mini Bistro. You can select which meal you like. It could be every day, maybe every Friday, and they're always healthy lunches as well.
And we really encourage the healthy breakfast in the morning, simply because so much is going on in the morning, and they really need fuel, and healthy fuel. I know they like the other stuff, me too. Didn't get this way by eating fruits and veggies only, but it's really important that if you can encourage them, yes, you know, because then we become the bad guys, right? Because we sort of say, honey, can you wait for later? And then, but mommy, put it in there for me. So if you can encourage that, it would be really helpful. So we just want them to, we want to get them to be successful. And the best way is to be able to eat well in the morning, to be able to get sleep at night, and when they come in,
to show up on time.
Exactly.
I'm just keeping us on schedule. So our doors open at 7:50, so arriving on time is really important. Especially for this age of development, their brain soaks up the most information early in the morning. So that morning time is so crucial. So arriving to school on time is really important. It gets them into the routine right away. They're more receptive for that harder academic stuff that typically happens in the morning. Also in grade 1, attendance is mandatory. So if you are planning an extended vacation, for example, you must let the office know. Please let the office know. One thing that you can do as well as a parent is use the portal. So using the EMSB portal, the Mosaic portal, you can notify when the absence will be. So whether your child is homesick, you can mention it right away, you can notify the office, or if there's an extended vacation that's arriving, you can notify the office as well. That way it also saves them the trouble of calling, saying, you know, where's Virginia? She's not in today. I hope not. Oh my goodness, I would panic. So just always let us know. But of course, the best way to succeed is to be present. But of course, if you are sick or you are not feeling well, example, if there's a fever or if your child has thrown up in the morning, by the time they get to school, they are still sick. And at that point, they're still contagious, and they are ready to share the wealth with everyone.
They're very generous.
They're very generous in grade 1. You know, so if your child is sick, please stay home. We're almost done. You know, if your child is sick, please stay home. Please notify the office or let us know through Mosaic. They can miss a day to rest. We'll all be better and well for it. So that's, yeah. I guess that's my PSA about that. All right.
So donations and school supplies. I know some of you hate us because you can't find certain things, and I understand. However, there's a reason that we have put these on the list. The reason that we have the one with the spiral and big because of the fact that when you have the one that opens up this way, it tends to rip. So if you have ever, you know what your child is like when something rips and they're upset. It gets really upsetting, and this is one of the best ways. It's not very big, there's about 20 pages, so even if there is a problem, we have a second one. But if you get with the big one, and then of course it rips, they get really upset. The other problem is when you get the smaller ones, for example, like this size. Well, if the paper is this size, because we use construction paper, and the size is bigger, what tends to happen is it rips up here, it rips up here, it rips over here. So this, I understand, it's not always easy to find, but one of the best places is Grade1. There's one on in Westmount on Sherbrooke, and there's one near Alexis Leon on St. Catherine Street. The other reason, for example, we always ask parents to get duotanks. You'll notice for some of you, in my class, I tend to return things that I can't use. If they're a folder, it doesn't help with your child, because what happens is everything goes in, everything comes out. But when it's a duotank, it stays in place. And that's why we ask for two, so if one gets ruined, they have a second one of the same color, so it helps. Oh yes, now this one, I know this is another thing that's hard to find. But usually Jean Coutu has these, but because it's, this time of the year, they may have run out. But Grade1 usually does, and try Amazon. I love Amazon.
No, it's not in Amazon. Grade1, I tried 3 branches, Walmart, I couldn't find it.
Yeah. This one?
Yeah.
We
And
tried.
for his brother, I had it from the last year, I sent it to him.
Oh, good.
So, but for Adam, I couldn't find.
Oh, what a shame.
3 branches, but
You know what? I'll check it out, see if we can find
Amazon,
it.
I couldn't find it.
Even in Walmart, she found it and I didn't. Yeah.
But see, sometimes what happens is they don't have it, they get a new supply.
Yeah.
Especially at the beginning of the year, because don't forget, the French schools started at different times as the English schools. So then the French parents go and buy the supplies at one point, the English parents, and depending on the board that you're in, start at different times of the year. So not much of a difference, it's a couple of days, but the couple of days makes a difference when you're going and buying, you need 20 dual tanks and 100 or whatever it is. And the main reason for this is the fact that little people don't know how to get around. And when you give them only lines, they get very upset. Where if it's half and half, they draw and we only focus on the
How about
drawing.
if someone if any parent found it, we can send you an email where did he find it?
Sure.
That'd be great.
So we can.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
And by the way, once you're on our Google Classroom, you can send a little message saying, dear parents, if you were missing this following
The
item.
one who finds,
Perfect.
Yeah.
Because I use everywhere. Yeah.
Even in getting, we were in getting this summer, because I was late to buy the school supplies, I couldn't find it.
It's getting hard. I find ever since COVID, it's been harder to find things that are basic stuff that we always use. We try our best, that's all we can do.
And I will say, like, in the spirit of giving, I'm giving us back on task a bit, but in the spirit of giving, things that will make a world of difference in our classroom, because again, some things the school does provide, but a lot the school does not provide. So Kleenex, for example, or Lysol wipes, the school does not provide. So when we talked about those germs, that the sickness, the illness, that travels, that sharing is caring, well, we need Kleenex, we need Lysol to help clean the class. And I have 21 students, so if one parent buys one Kleenex box, I have 21 Kleenex boxes, and then I'm good for the year.
And I
You
have
see
to
what I
tell you,
mean?
they go fast.
They go very fast.
Yeah.
So
We started school last week. I have used up 3.
So of course, everyone's budget is different, and it's a donation, there's no obligation, but things like Kleenex, things like paper towels, things like Lysol wipes, hand sanitizer, it goes a long way. If you have older toys that you would like to donate, we will always accept, and if we won't use them, we'll find another classroom that will use, older or younger.
We signed with the kids with the bags.
That's perfect. So
And
anything
these are
else?
really,
Oh, yes.
they're like gold. Disinfectant wipes, a baggies and tissues, they're like,
No, the extra.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's fine.
yeah.
And I'm just letting you know, these are, they're like gold, it's like Christmas and my birthday the same day.
So, just to wrap it up, because we're almost out of time, so often the question that we get is, I just want my kid to be happy. I want my kid to do well. It's their first school experience. How can I help? What can I do? And the main thing that we really suggest is to read at home. Encourage reading. Encourage this attitude towards learning. Especially, I often hear, like, Miss Marie, I don't speak French. How am I going to help my kid learn French? And to that I say it's okay. Your child is learning French. It's not you. But it's okay. But if the child is hearing, oh, like, that's so cool what you learned at school, tell me about that, or show me the song, or oh, what did you learn today? Like, it's that attitude towards learning something new that is being transferred. Whereas if you say, oh, I don't know French, I can't help you, then that same child comes to me and says, oh, I don't speak French, I can't do it. Right? So often the ways to encourage is really the modeling of the attitude towards learning. So read at home with your child, even in your mother tongue. Read together. It's that love of learning that you're reinforcing. Review the concepts that we share. So we often will post things on Google Classroom or we'll send things home. Review it with your child. We'll never send something brand new that they've never done before. So it's just a reviewing, keeping things active, keeping things fresh. And if there is homework, oftentimes it's things that they haven't completed in school. So they've done most of the work in school, but maybe they need the last number to finish at home. So that support at home is really helpful. And the last thing I will say is encouraging your child to be independent. You'd be amazed at how many kids at home can't tie their shoes, can't zip up their jacket, can't do all these things, and then at school I say, yes you can, and then they go, okay, and they're ready. So encourage them to be independent as much as they can. Oftentimes it's become almost like a learned helplessness where there's no effort being applied, so they think they can't do it before they've even tried. So always encourage them to try first. If they need help, then we can support. So any opportunity to build autonomy is great, especially with dressing, especially with doing the homework, finding the material, getting their pouch out of their school bag, helping to pack the lunch, for example. Any way to give them that self-sufficiency, but also that confidence that comes with being able to do things on your own and being proud of what you can achieve. So encouraging independence and autonomy goes a long way, and supporting goes a long way. But of course, if you need help, we're here. So you can always send us an email. We'll try our best to support as best we can. But we really are a team, a year-long team. Grade 1 is super fun. We both love Grade 1. We've both been teaching Grade 1 a long time, and there's a reason for that. We love Grade 1. So we have a lot of information that we can share with you. We just don't know what you need. So if you have questions, don't be shy. We're a team. And we are right on time. It's 5:15.
If you need a hard copy of the school supply list, it's right here. Any questions before we go? You're all good?
Just the French language.
Yes.
How the percentage of French
Yeah, so it's more heavily on the speaking. So there's more of a communication component. Of course, I said communication and all these things, communication. But it's more exposure. And especially in Grade 1, it's about exposure to the language. Exposure to the sound-based program and the themes. And because we're in a cycle, so it's Grade 1, Grade 2, everything that's in Grade 1 will be reinforced in Grade 2 as well. So they have time. Also, if it's their first time learning French, they're evaluated in a different way compared to someone who's born in Quebec taking the class. So there's français langue de base and français langue maternelle. So it's a very different.
No, in the daycare he spoke French because it's French daycare.
Yeah.
But when he came to KG, there is no French. It's only the gym class was French.
Okay.
He forgot the French.
Yeah.
So now in Grade 1, he will come back to French.
Well, no.
But in
So
kindergarten, they do French every single
Only
day.
the gym, they told me it's only the gym they speak French. He was
Not according to
Yeah.
their program, because this
He was
is why they
only
have two
Spanish.
teachers. They have Miss Melanie and Miss Francie did the French part, and Miss Alex did the English
But
part.
also, I will say, so there's français langue de base and français langue maternelle, and depending on, so garderie, daycare, it doesn't count. So if kindergarten, if pre-K, K4 was their first time, by the time that they're in Grade 1, they've had 2 years of exposure. If it's kindergarten, it's 1 year, so they have grade 1 also.
Okay.
So there's time. There's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just also,
Yeah.
regarding the videos you're posting
Yes.
in French class, so even if she doesn't understand,
It's
like,
okay.
everything in the story,
Yeah.
so is that okay? Should
Yes,
I just put
yeah.
it in repeat? And
Exactly.
And
And
just an exposure.
exactly. It's just exposure, but also when I do evaluate, I'll say, for example, okay, they need to know what cahier is. They need to know what crayon is, that vocabulary word, and that video will expose them to those words in a context. So there is an element of like they have to understand, but do they need to understand every part of the song? No. But the key vocabulary, yes. And I'll give a study guide before the test so you know which words to focus on. Yeah. Yeah.
And little people are like sponges.
They really are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if, as Ms. Marie said, if you're positive about reading, if you're positive about writing, if you're positive about learning a different language, then so will they, because they'll just absorb everything that we sort of put out there. So have a lovely evening. Thank you so much.